Hi everybody, welcome back. It's August 17th, 2022, and we're back on the moon again using the Worldwide Telescope. I gotta wonder how many people have tried using the Worldwide Telescope. It's super easy. Once you get to the website, I think you have 3 clicks and you're in. And you yourself can, within under a minute, can be looking into these black craters and taking a screenshot of it. If you have a Windows operating system on your computer, then you have everything you need to lighten up the picture. You just go to the screenshot you took, double click it, and everything's right there. Super easy. I really recommend doing that. It's a lot of fun, and it's a real sense of discovery when you find these things. Now, this is a smaller crater, but it's loaded. This crater is really loaded compared to some of the other ones that we've looked at. There's so much more going on in this crater. It's really incredible. But you know, it brings us back to how is it possible? You know, I still don't have any answers to that. I've been saying over time that maybe there's some sort of a cloaking device or a hologram or something like that prevents us and the people with telescopes from seeing it. I don't know. I recently listened to a gal. Her name is Ileana. She's what is considered a star traveler, and she's a certified shaman, and she's a psychic. And she's been talking about these records of telescopes that will allow us to see through the cloak. You know, they're like a ruby. They're called a ruby refractory telescope. But these records are in the Egyptian Hall of Records and others. So we don't have that technology available to us right now. But I think it's interesting that here's a person that says that there is indeed some sort of projection that prevents us from seeing through. There has to be something, because this stuff is not difficult to find. Although I will say that this stuff, as far as the Worldwide Telescope is concerned, is only located in the poles, North and South Pole, which we don't see from Earth. So maybe that has something to do with it. I know that there's more on the surface throughout, but the Worldwide Telescope doesn't completely cover the moon. It's just doing about 25% on each end, north and south, and that's it. So this place is so completely alien, you guys. I mean, look at this place. And all these structures are stacked up. Some are stacked up high, some are low. Looking at these pictures, I have to say, these are the kind of pictures that you really do need to take a little bit of time and look at it, because it's hard for me to tell you, what is stacked and what isn't. You don't see it. You have to, get in there with your eyeballs and get a little bit of perspective. But it is incredible, as always, right? And as I've said before, these long rectangular, what appear to be structures, are groupings of buildings, and these pictures right here are great examples. Now, we're not getting a lot of definition on those long rectangular buildings, but you can see the buildings that make up the long rectangular ones, and it always makes it look like there's no resolution, that it's all fuzzy. And in a way it is, because those buildings are so small that we can't get resolution on it. So it makes the overall appearance of these rectangular structures as being sort of fuzzy. But there are so many. And in this crater, this is I've seen one very, very small crater that was completely covered over with this stuff. We've seen it. I think it was in the last video on the moon. And we've seen hints of these types of structures starting to go across the crater floor from one side to the other. But in this picture, these large rectangular buildings are much more pervasive in the middle. There's many more of them, and so this crater is farther along than any of the other ones that we've seen as far as covering it over. And here's a blast to the eyeballs, right? You know, you don't know that's coming, and all of a sudden you're so zoomed in you go cross-eyed. But the resolution on this particular picture has allowed me to get some really close pictures, which of course always end up being blurry, but or fuzzy. But still, there's some pretty interesting things to see close up. And in this picture right here, we have on the left side, we have the crater wall structures coming down off the crater wall, and then the long rectangular ones, and then the smaller things in the middle, which before too long will all end up looking like these long rectangular shapes. And you know, I want to remind you, you know, this is alien, okay? I mean, I don't want to sound too stupid about it, but don't forget, I mean, these are not just some strange pictures. You yourself can go pluck them out in a minute. This is the moon. I'm not going to call it our moon. This is the moon that's over our heads. And it has got a lot going on there. And I hope that you people are sharing these videos or sharing these pictures with other people. You know, it's all about trying to get this out, and which I've found is extremely difficult to do. There's a lot of resistance. You know, people don't really want to know, I don't think. And so because of that, when you try to present them evidence, it's all about what it can't be. And so I don't know, you know, it seems like most people don't want to know about it, and the ones that do come here and find out about it. You know what I mean? Not just here, but other places. They search it out. You know, this information is all here for anybody who wants to look. You know, this is something I said, I think, in one of my first videos, you know, maybe my second or third video in. Hey, this information is all there for everyone to see. And when I had a conversation with Ken Johnston from NASA, he said the same thing. Hey, all of this stuff is available for people to go search out. So how come that hasn't happened? You know, how come the universities aren't all over this, and different scientists around the world? It may be because whenever a scientist gets too close to something that the deep state doesn't want out, those scientists die. There have been a really unusual number of scientists around the world, top scientists in their fields, who die, usually mysteriously in bizarre accidents and that kind of thing. So I guess I can understand why scientists don't want to get into this. Now, here at the bottom of this picture right here, there's the black line, and this is the concentric line, a very small portion of the concentric line that we've talked about before. These are circular lines that go around the entire globe, and usually only seen in the black craters. And that just had a very small portion of it there. And if you sort of glaze your eyes over when you look at some of these pictures of the area between the area in the middle of the crater, you can see a grid work that goes from left to right. It perfectly straight lines, as if it's completely laid out on where these structures are going to come down, where they're going to be lined up. I guess that's the moon version of a chalk line. Sorry, that's really stupid. What can I say? And look at these, you know, everything looks like it's being put together. I mean, the whole place, you know, whether it's down in the middle of this crater or on the edges, there's buildings lined up to go into slots that are opened up, ready to go. Yeah. This is super busy. I've talked about busy before, but this one is definitely takes the cake. And this picture was probably taken from the lunar orbiter in I think it was 2009, if I recall. So 12 years later, I wonder what it looks like now. And you know, that's another thing. I mean, it's something else that this is all here, right? But I mean, seriously, where do the building materials come from? Are they being manufactured on the moon? Much of these lunar craters that we look at, I think, are industrial areas, but still, with the amount of construction, that's an absolutely phenomenal amount of materials that are needed. And where the hell do they come from? So do they bring them in? So how come we don't see vessels going back and forth? You know, Bruce sees all. Bruce Schwartz, he's shown us just a tremendous of UFO activity on the surface of the moon. And they're going to and fro and up and down and back and forth. And okay, that's one thing, but still, this is just one, you know, pretty small crater, and they're all under construction. So this is another enormous question that you know, I sure as hell can't answer. Not to mention the fact that we can't see all this stuff. I guess unless you're a secret space program insider, you don't get to see stuff. All right. This is too much for us. And you know, it might be, you know. Like I said, a lot of people that don't even want to know about this, if they were forced to know about it and know that there's a population up there on the moon that's, you know, far exceeds what we have here on Earth, you know, sitting, whatever it is, 275,000 miles away from us, you know, that's a little freaky. But nonetheless, it's something you get over, you know. It's kind of like for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, you know, people were unable to fly. And then one day we flew. And that had to be shocking for a lot of people to know that we were flying through the air. How shocking is that? I don't think it would be quite as shocking as finding out what's on the moon, but I think we'd get over it. And then when people go home at night, or when they go outside at night and look up at the moon, they can see it for what it really is. That's our big brother sitting up there. And, you know, I don't know if it's Big Brother or, you know, somebody that doesn't give a damn about Earth. I don't know. But it's there. And, you know, there are so many questions, you know, infrastructure, food, building materials, how come we can't see it? But just because we don't have answers to those questions doesn't mean it's not there, right? Now, I was looking at this picture here. We were looking at the dark part, and I thought, well, it's time to take a look at the lighter part again. So we're going to look at the light part of this crater. And this is the part that's so heavily messed up. They just completely ruin these areas in white. So, you know, I'm not much of a person with this software. I'm not that talented. I only deal in shades, so black and white, you know, contrast, brightness, you know, that kind of thing. And then I use the sharpen. I've used the sharpen. It's the only way I can get through what they do. And I had to tilt this picture, or I did tilt it so we could try and get a look at these buildings here. And like I said, not the greatest picture, but when you see what you start with, it's amazing that you can get this. And this is not pixels. And you know, keep in mind that you have a difference between the dark area, which, by the way, I've completely ruined the dark area just so we could get this part. So whatever's in the dark area, forget it. But you know, we don't have the same type of thing in the dark area. If it were pixels, it'd be all the way across the screen. This is their computer-generated image tampering software that they use, and they do use it a lot, and they mess it up a lot. So that's just a little bit of what's on the outside there. We also have this very bright area, which is toned way down here to the right, and it's inconclusive. You can see shapes in there, but it seems like they could be just about anything. So I don't know what that is. Well, I think it's buildings. I've seen it before, but anyway, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you soon.